We like every time I change a career or every time I
I've not done it that often.
I jump. I hop jobs a lot. Okay. So right now, you're no longer believe in the church. You no longer believe in Christianity.
That's not what I said.
Because you said you've lost faith in God.
Any kind of theistic belief.
So
I just don't see the place for God in any kind of society. I think it's a human construction. And having been fairly senior in the Church of England, I saw myself as becoming an instrument of that human construction. Now, you could say, all right, the institution is therefore sinful and faulty and all the rest of it. But I think that's true of any religion.
Okay, where did the universe come from? Because I started the conversation by asking you.
Yeah, something come from nothing.
Do you believe something can come from nothing?
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm quite happy not to know.
I don't think you're being honest, sir.
Don't you?
Yeah. Do you live your life thinking something can come from nothing? Do you looking up like there might just?
Yeah, but the answer I come up with is not God.
No. We're taking step-by-step process.
Really vividly as a kid, looking out of my bedroom window and seeing the stars twinkling, thinking, "Gosh, what's out there?" You know, open-eyed, and all the rest of it. I don't respond to it in that way now. I think it's much more likely to have a scientific explanation than any other thing.
I'm giving you a scientific explanation, and you're disagreeing with me. You're saying it's possible something come from nothing. Science doesn't back you up on that.
Well, it doesn't deny it either. It just doesn't know all the answers yet.
No, but the scientific position held at the moment isn't something can come from nothing.
Is there a single scientific position held?
The law of science is limited by what it can test, by time, by matter, by space and time. By things it can do experiments on, repeat experiments on, so on and so forth. So we have to understand its limitations, and at the moment,
that's what I'm doing.
No, but you're saying you're saying that science will have the answers, but science doesn't give you absolute truths.
Well, we don't know that, do we?
It's not capable. Science admits.
Well, I mean, presumably, you think that gravity is an absolute truth.
Would I?
Well, I think you have to, because otherwise you'd be floating off somewhere, wouldn't you?
So, I feel like
falling from the tree on Isaac Newton's head.
I think we're diluting the conversation. So going back to can something.
Deliberately.
I know.
I'm leading you further into your misery.
You're leading me further off topic, very skillfully, may I add.
Can I just say, I admire you massively for standing here.
Thank you.
And it doesn't matter to me whether you're a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or whatever. I imagine anybody I'm inspired by people who are prepared to stand up for what they believe, and that's what you're doing. So, thank you for having a go. I'm not going to take a copy of the Quran because I think you're better off giving it to somebody else.
I would say, take it, read it at your own leisure. You will benefit from it. I think.
I've read a good bits of it.
When you was a different person, are you the same person that you was at university?
Not.
There you go. So I think now you will take a different meaning from it. Your worldview I would assume, has changed substantially since then. I can imagine you was quite religious at that point. So now, when you read it, I believe that you will believe that it is divinely inspired. What would you need from this book to believe it's divinely inspired?
More than it's capable of giving you.
How do you know? Tell me what you need.
I've read most of it.
No. Tell me what you need, and I can see.
I don't need anything. I'm going to see my life through. I'll die, and I'll be buried, and that's that, as far as I'm concerned. I was a pretty strong advocate of an alternative view for a long time.
What's the alternative view?
Well, Christian view of life and death.
So, sorry, what is your alternative view?
Well, for me, it was a Christian view.
No, what is it currently?
That I die, and that's the end of it.
Okay. So
I think the desire on the part of human beings to understand what happens after death is a very human one. It's a very understandable thing.
I agree.
I'm not satisfied by any of the answers.
What's Islam's answer?
Well, I couldn't sum it up in a way that you would find.
Try your best.
No, I'm not even going to try because I think that would be insulting.
I don't believe, and I could be wrong, that you've seen the argument Islam makes.
I probably haven't, but
And I believe once you're introduced to it, if he wasn't being so evasive, skillfully.
I'm not being evasive, actually. I think I'm being quite open.
No. Evasive to answering the key points, because at the end of the day,
I don't want
there's
to
a program.
by
Don't worry.
misunderstanding faith. It's obviously very important to you, and I admire that.
No, you can't offend me.
It's not something that I want for myself.
And again, we haven't even got to religion. Does that make sense?
No,
I'm trying to do the foundational thing, like, look, let's agree where the universe comes from. Let's agree if something can come from nothing. My claim would be it's more logical and rational to believe in a creator than to.
Well, I disagree with you.
Then give me the alternative, because the Quran makes the argument.
The alternative is all there in the Big Bang.
Okay, what caused the Big Bang?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
And I'm saying that.
But I think that as science unravels this universe that we live in,
but that's
we'll become clear about what that is.
But currently, with the knowledge you have, you're saying you believe that a compelling argument is the universe was created by the Big Bang, and I would argue that science leads you to.
Sorry, I don't mean to be so.
No, it's fine. I don't smoke, but I'm willing to take the smoke to continue this conversation. You know what I mean? I'm committed. You know what I mean? So the Big Bang, like, I've spoken to professors of quantum mechanics. They can tell you the very moment the Big Bang happened. Right?
They can't tell you why.
They can't tell you why. They can't tell you
prime mover and all that kind of stuff.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. But I don't think that it doesn't satisfy me as an answer.
That's my point. So I'm saying I have the answer, which is it was caused by.
For me, you don't.
You haven't heard it yet, sir.
Well, I haven't
if you permit me to finish, that is something. No, it's fine.
Are we being recorded, by the way?
We are, yes.
Yeah. That's interesting. In case I'm rude to you.
No, because
I
we
have absolutely no intention of being rude to you.
No, not at all. I'll be honest with you. We have the intention of educating the public by uploading these on YouTube. Okay. So there's a channel called.
You tell me if you upload it.
We'll give you the details if you want. Yeah. So yeah, we can discuss how you want, like the details and so on and so forth. If you want on there.
It'd be a really good one to upload. You know, a bit of a doubter.
Yeah. People would enjoy it. But yeah.
Well, I'll let you finish. I promise I won't interrupt.
No, it's fine. Do you remember what I was trying to say? Oh yeah. So my answer would be, what caused the Big Bang is something that has intelligence, outside of the universe, and independent. There's more names and attributes.
That's really tough. I'm sorry. I promise I won't interrupt.
So now, I don't think. If you thought about it, that you would disagree with the fact that you need something independent outside of the universe, with intelligence, with will, to put into motion to create the universe, because you can't have a dependent things creating like other dependent things that create other dependent things. Then what created that dependent thing? I'm saying Allah is independent, uncreated. There's a 4-line definition of Allah given in the Quran. But I can imagine we're short of time, so I believe that's a more.
I hope I'm not giving the impression I want to get away.
Slightly.
No.
I appreciate it. So what's the alternative? Something like what caused the Big Bang? So that's why I said it's more logical and rational to believe in a creator than not to believe in a creator. I didn't say it's the only answer. It's you have to believe in it. I'm saying that with the current alternatives we have, it is the most logical and rational, because from nothing comes nothing. The universe didn't create itself, because that's an absurdity. That means the universe didn't.
The conservation of matter clearly.
Pardon?
The conservation of matter clearly doesn't allow for that to have happened. So it must have come from somewhere. I just don't think it came from an independent, sentient being, which is, I think, what you said.
Why not? Where did it come from then?
I don't know.
Do you disagree that what created the universe has to be outside of the universe? Do you disagree with that? Let's take it step by step. Break it down. Because it can't
No,
be.
because of the conservation of matter.
There you go. So you agree with that part?
No. I said I
sorry.
don't agree with that.
Oh, sorry. Based on what?
Because
Sorry.
matter has to come from somewhere.
That's my point.
Yeah. And it's logical that it comes from itself to me.
How?
I don't know.
So my
I'm
point
not a
is,
scientist.
but then you're basing
I've
your
thought about it
understanding.
quite a lot, but I'm not a scientist, so I can't give you an answer.
So you're someone who would refer to science, who believes in science, but your response isn't based on science.
No, I don't believe in science.
You believe that you can get answers, that the answer
Yeah.
is in science, but you haven't referenced any scientific articles, any scientists, any scientific positions.
fairly well read.
No, then back it up and say that, look, this is a position held by so on and so forth,
Well, I mean, it's a position fairly widely held.
that matter created itself.
Yeah. No, it didn't create itself, but it pre-existed.
But
There was a pre-existence of matter prior to the Big Bang. We just haven't worked out what it is yet.
based on what? See, this is just pure conjecture. This is conjecture because
Yeah, but so's yours. The nature
My-
of belief is conjecture.
no, it's a logical
that one.
conclusion. It's a logical
It's not
conclusion.
logical at all.
It is because right now you're making a point that before the Big Bang there was matter. You have no evidence to this effect.
Well, I don't. But that's
But
not
yeah,
my
but
particular
yeah, but
interest
that's
in
the
that,
faith.
is it?
That's the faith you have. You have a faith in the fact that there was matter before the Big Bang.
Not the same kind of faith that might lead to
Absurd,
believing in-
sir. I would say your faith is more absurd than what I'm saying because at the end of the day, I'm going to make a
Calling me
claim.
absurd.
I'm saying that believe,
I'm giving you the privilege of my time, and you're calling me absurd.
vice versa.
I think you could say, I don't agree with you, but I do see where you're coming from.
No, the reason it's absurd because I have a greater lines of arguments because I haven't even gone into the Quran being perfectly preserved. I haven't gone into the fact that, and this is all objectively true.
Yeah.
And the Quran has been.
I find that quite curious, really.
When you
But
get a
that's not
chance.
what you're trying to talk about. So
No. Please do because it's like now.
Well, you see, I would say that every written document is subject to interpretation by the person who's reading it.
Preservation.
And it's clear in Islam
Preservation.
as well, isn't it, through the different branches of Islam.
Preservation and interpretation are two very separate things. So I'm sure you're aware that in Birmingham we have the Birmingham manuscript, which is the Quran, carbon dated by non-Muslim academics to the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that's preservation right there. That's my secondary source. We have,
Christians don't have.
yeah,
Yeah. I appreciate that.
we have over 200 million individuals who've memorized the Quran word for word, letter for letter, dot for dot in a language. In Arabic, which is the language the Quran was revealed in. So
I think reading a text in a foreign language, which is effectively what you're talking about, and I don't know what your first language is, sounds like
it's not
probably
Arabic.
English.
Yeah.
But so you're reading that through a second language.
Yes, indeed.
Now, the only way you might be able to access Voltaire, for example, is by reading it in English. But you'll get a much clearer understanding of what it's all about if it was your first language and you were reading it in French.
Indeed. But the fact of the matter is, going back to interpretation now,
In fact, if I'm correct, you wouldn't actually view that as the Quran.
correct, yes, I'll get into that point. So this, hopefully by the end of this conversation, when you're motivated to take this Quran, you're not taking the Quran, you're actually taking the nearest translation by that individual. Yeah? The Quran, we've preserved it in the Arabic language. So the nuance of the richness of the Arabic language, you're going to miss it. Now, going back to the point in regards to
I'm
interpretation.
so expert in Arabic in order to be able to read it in Arabic.
No, not particularly. There's a lot of people, because what happens is, like, look, you can read it and get the meaning of the text, right? Which will be a good basic understanding. But interpretation would be, okay, how was this Quran meant to be understood? And that meaning was given by the Prophet Muhammad, who is the final messenger of God. And that understanding has been preserved. So we have a heritage of, okay, how did he understand it? How did he explain it to the companions? How did the companions understand it? How did the 3 generations thereafter understand it? Because it's not like the Bible, it's like, because then the meaning, it gets diluted. Does that make sense? Really, in fact, let me retract that. It's because God said so. It's because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that the understand.
Peace be upon him, because I was missing that from what you were saying.
Yeah, failure on my part.
No, not a failure. Just
No, I agree. No, I don't know. This is the heritage. This is the traditions, and this is the admiration, the respect we show.
Tradition.
Yeah. And peace be upon all the messengers of God: Jesus, Moses, Abraham. So he himself, because he was inspired by God, said that look, the religion will be preserved by himself, the companions, the tabi'in, the tabi'in, and the generation after that, and then thereafter. So then that's where we get the religion from. It's from the understanding of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the divine revelation that was given to him. So it's not like a man interpreted it; it's a man chosen by God. And again, with more time, we could give you examples of how he lived, and there's elements of his life which is like purely, it's divine. It makes sense. Like no man would behave like this. He was given wealth, he was given women, but there was signs and actions of a prophet within him, where he wouldn't be tempted by the worldly things. Like he was known to be a very honest man, and that's. So then these are characteristics of prophets.
Exact characteristics that could be used to describe Jesus.
Yeah. Again, another messenger of God. So I don't negate that Jesus was a messenger and pious man, but I'm saying that look, the Prophet Muhammad gave a complete way of life. How do you lead an army? How do you raise children? How do you treat your spouse? How do you interact with your mother? How do you cut your nails? How do you wash yourself when you defecate? And these are all elements that have been divinely inspired. Now, I was having this conversation with another individual, it's like there's elements which we have to do, and there's elements where it's recommended and it's more beneficial. I'm saying there's nothing in the Quran which is forbidden, which is good for you, and there's nothing in Islam which is recommended to you, which is bad for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, again, we could have a greater conversation on this, but I want to bring the conversation back to theology, and this book has prophecies come through. It talks about history, science, and different matters, gets it all right. Yeah? The linguistic miracles, there's not a single contradiction in this book. There's no mistakes in it, because this is the only religious scripture that says it's from God, from Allah. Allah will preserve it. Hence, I've given evidence of the preservation, and another evidence the Quran uses, like there's no crookedness, there's no mistakes in it, there's no error in it. So this is a bold statement. I'm standing here, I'm going to give you a free translation of the Quran.
St. John says pretty much the same kind of thing in the prologue to his gospel.
But just because you make a claim, it doesn't make the claim true. So I'm giving you the opportunity.
No, I'm not trying to defend Christianity or even to attack Islam.
Yeah.
I'm just making an observation.
No, and you're right.
And you're right. You know, the Bible makes exactly the same claims.
But is that verifiable? Is that objectively true?
Well,
do you think the Bible?
Millions of people across the world think that it is. I don't myself. I never did.
No. But that's not the criteria we use for if something is correct. Oh, there's a lot of people that think it's correct. No, I'm saying that look, we have the law of logic, of non-contradiction. So I'm saying the Quran doesn't have contradictions in it. It has no mistakes in it. So
I don't think St. John's Gospel does either.
Do you really believe that?
Well, I mean, I'm not aware of any contradictions.
Yeah. What does it talk about?
It talks about the life of Jesus.
Okay. So again,
in a far more kind of theological way than some of the other Gospels, which tend to be more narrative.
But that's my point. So now you're talking about a text which doesn't leave room. It doesn't talk about things outside of its era.
If I describe my experience of you, I would say 6 foot, bushy beard, dark hair. If I was standing behind you, I wouldn't know you had a beard. So I'd tell a different story.
Oh, sorry. See, this is it.
So that's the reason the Gospel writers tell different stories, because they're standing from different perspectives.
But this is the thing, like
I'm really not going to take your word.
No.
Not
sorry,
because I don't want, not because I'm closed to what it might contain, but because it's better with somebody else.
So just to touch on the final point you made, hopefully not the final point, but the latter point you made, which is the Quran isn't a biography of the Prophet Muhammad. It's a textbook on how to live. So it talks about science. It talks about things where it's like, look, it talks about facts. Is going through concepts where it's like saying, so it's not just a descriptive book.
Gospel writers don't choose the stories from the life of Jesus just at random. They do them because they want to make particular points about the way in which Christians should live. Now that, amounts to the same thing as what you're saying.
No, not particularly, and I'll be honest with you. It really puts
read the
into
Bible?
question. Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a test.
No, I have.
It was a test, actually. It was me being nasty, but because I didn't think you would have done. But
No. I like theology, and I think I can't be standing here talking about theology
sure.
if I haven't read the scripture. And I'm
You've
quite
got no idea the difficult people you're going to meet.
yeah. Most people, unfortunately, they're quite ignorant of texts, regardless of what text it is. Does that make sense? And that's
Do you
unfortunate.
get much insult?
No. Very, very rarely. Not even insult. I can't recall getting insult. Yeah, there's
People
some.
just wouldn't stop if they...
No, you got people who are very passionate about what they believe, and they'll be quite derogatory, be aggressive, be rude, but they'll conflate stuff. Not much. I would say a very small percentage. Yeah. What's your takeaway from this conversation, sir? What's your name, by the way?
Mark.
Ridwan. What's your takeaway from this conversation? Because I feel like there's a lot of topics we've opened, but we haven't really been able to kind of unpack. Kind of like my luggage when I come back from abroad.
Okay, I spent a lot of time in the last 8 years since I left the church. I was one of the top 40 clergy in the Church of England. So I'm quite.
What was it that made you leave your theology?
It started, my reflections started because I came out as gay, and my colleagues in particular treated me like a piece of dirt, basically. So that led me to reflect on what their motivation was. It's clear to me what their motivation was. One of them in particular wanted my job. That led me to question what faith's that, basically what my faith meant to me. Was I prepared to...
Why would you completely leave theism?
I could have stayed.
What made you leave theism? Because
I see no need for it.
But there's many questions where it's like you just
I
refuse to answer. You don't have an answer for it. So the need is there, but you're just not asking that question. You're not asking the right questions, perhaps.
Well, maybe. I appreciate that. But what I said earlier on was I reached the point where theism was no longer a satisfactory answer to the questions that I was asking.
But you don't have a satisfactory answer.
No, well I do. For me it's satisfying to say there are things about this world that we don't understand. We may do one day, but right now we don't. I'm happy to accept that.
No, you have answers that satisfy you, but you don't have answers. Your answer is, I don't know, and you're okay with that.
I'm very happy with that.
But it's not really an answer.
But it's what anybody who says they believe is saying exactly the same thing.
But I've given you my logical premises because
I don't think that gives you certainty. Certainty is that you're standing in front of me. I can touch you, I can prod you, I can wind you up.
But I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Where did you get this from?
like any Islamic shops, there's ones.
Islamic shops?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially around here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Try Commercial Road, you find one.
Huh?
Try Commercial Road, you find one. That's quite, I think that may be my phone, actually.
Might be, yeah.
I'm calling back around. See, I think that the nature of belief is precisely the same thing as what I'm engaged in. Because I believe...
Please elaborate.
I believe... I don't know for certain. I don't know that there isn't a God for certain. It just doesn't seem to be very...
Oh, sorry, before the lady interrupted, not interrupted, but certainty.
She was after you as a fashion accessory.
Right now, how do you know this isn't a dream? Because haven't you had dreams? So you don't have certainty. You don't have certainty.
No, I know.
I have certainty.
I know that unless I die, I'll wake up tomorrow morning. That's about it, really.
But you wouldn't even have certainty you've died because you don't have the foundation. Right now, my certainty.
You don't know you're not going to die tonight.
No. I said when you die, you don't even know if you're dead. You don't have certainty.
I'll be dead.
But that's the point. You're speaking from somebody who doesn't have certainty.
My life,
No,
my
I'm
life
happy.
will be over. You know, I've had a good life. I'm still having a good life. But I don't need to know what's coming next because I don't actually think there is anything. But I may be wrong. And I tell you what, I'll see you in heaven if I'm wrong.
But I don't think you're going to enter heaven because you don't meet the criteria.
Sorry that you don't think I'm going to be. You wouldn't think I was going to go to heaven if I was the Archbishop of Canterbury, would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't. No.
No. So
Because neither does he meet the.
argument, then.
Never does he meet the criteria. But I'm saying that I have a criteria
yeah.
for.
Well, I hope you're right, because otherwise you will have invested a great deal in your criteria, and if you're not right, well, it'll be a complete waste of time.
But I have more reasons to believe.
I'll see you in heaven.
I have more reasons to believe I'm right than you do to believe you're right. My reasons are more objectively true and verifiable.
No, they're not actually. I mean,
Deconstruct one of my points, please. Any point of your choice.
I mean, to say that is objectively verifiable is just not true, because I could say it's just like any book that I draw from the shelves in the library, and that's what I would say. Actually.
No, but that's not my claim.
It's not.
No. My claim is objectively verifiable. It's been preserved. It's objectively verifiable that there's no contradictions in it. There's no mistakes in it. When it talks about,
What does that mean?
it means
No mistakes that you're aware of is all you can say.
there's no mistakes currently.
No mistakes that anybody who's drawn anybody's attention to, but that doesn't mean that there are no mistakes.
They have tried and they have failed. I can show you.
Fair enough.
There you
If they were
go.
reading
So at the moment,
if they tried reading it from right to left, maybe they'd do better. Sorry, that was mean.
it's fine.
You see my point? That actually, I admire your faith in the book. I admire your faith in what Islam stands for.
No, you don't.
I do actually.
You don't.
I do.
Why? Why would you? Because
Because if
it's
it
a
works
complete
for you-
waste of time.
No. If it works for you, that's good enough for me.
But it shouldn't work for me, though, should it?
Well, only if
Falsehood
it's right.
works.
I mean, I don't know whether it's right or not. I mounted a massive argument against our religion teacher at school.
Yeah, which was?
A very old-fashioned kind of Church of England priest. I used to say, see that light bulb?
Yep.
If you believe that light bulb was the founding source of the whole of creation, then I admire you for your belief. I think you're probably wrong, but it could be true, and I'm not the one to tell you it isn't. Now, that's a completely absurd argument, and in some ways it devalues any kind of faith. But my point's quite important, because I don't think it matters what you believe in, as long as it works for you.
I would say it's unfair to conflate the strong argument I was making to a flimsy, just because someone believes something and they argue it.
But unless I was to become a fully signed up Muslim in all aspects, I do not have any right to criticise you for your faith.
No, you do. You have the right to do that. You have
I don't know
the
enough about it.
capacity. I would say you don't know enough about it, hence look into it. If I've made a claim that's falsifiable, then falsify it. Does that make sense? You don't need to, nor do you want to.
I don't
That's
have no
fine.
desire to do that at all.
I appreciate that. However, your belief is coming from a worldview of
That works for me. And that's my
that's
main-
subjective. How do you mean it works for you?
but
It's
it's
something
my-
you believe to be
That's
correct.
exactly what I just said to you. If it works for you, I admire you. But I don't have any need for it.
You don't.
so-
That's my point, and it makes this conversation a bit redundant because
Well, I
you
tried
don't
to
need a
say that
truth.
right from the outset. I'm afraid I must go and answer that call.
No,
I'm
of
sorry
course.
Sorry to walk away.
Mark,
But
no.
very good
Thank
to
you
meet
so
and I
much.
do-
Absolute pleasure.
It may sound hollow,
What-
but I do admire you for your commitment and
What's your final words? I'm going to let you speak straight into the camera, Mark. You can say something hedonistic. You can say something.
I just want to say that I admire this man for his commitment to his faith and for standing out here on a cold evening, trying to share what his faith means to him. And I really do admire that. It's not for me, and I tried to warn you off a conversation with me at the beginning, but I still admire him.
Okay, but based upon that definition.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you one last question, if you permit me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you a good person?
I believe I am.
Okay.
You do realize that that statement is very subjective.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I
And
said
you
I
have-
believe I am. I didn't say I am.
So you
I hate this, right?
you could be wrong.
Yeah.
Mark, absolute pleasure.
By the standards of modern age, I think I'm probably a good person.
But you
I
have
can
no
only- I can-
yardstick to actually prove that to be correct.
Well, I do. It's called the law of the land.
Is the law of the land qualified to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But then if you went to another land,
I'd have to learn the laws because otherwise I find myself in trouble. I mean, being gay is obviously quite an issue in some places. If I went to live in Uganda, I couldn't expect to lead a peaceful life.
you know you could be gay, see it as a sin and still be a Muslim.
I don't see being gay as a sin in any way at all. That's the way it's who I am, where I was born.
But do you not see the implications if the entire world become gay?
Well, it's not going to happen, is it?
But then,
Statistically, about 10%. Since the days of Muhammad.
no, but would it work though? If everyone became
Because
gay?
it's not going to happen.
Yeah?
About 10% of the population gay. It's not going to end up with everyone.
But then if it works and it's right, then why doesn't everyone become gay? Because it's not sustainable. It doesn't work.
I think you probably have to be gay to understand that it's as natural to me to be gay as it is to you to be straight.
To be heterosexual, yeah.
And I've tried it both ways. I was married to a woman who was both ways.
Was he unhappy?
No?
Was she unhappy?
I'd say we were both unfulfilled.
I would say, Assalamu alaikum. Hey, Dinaki, okay? You recognize
I'm
me?
going
Yeah.
to leave. My phone's ringing again.
No.
Thank you
Thanks so
very
much, Mark.
much.
Have a lovely day. Take care.
Recognize.
Yes, I do, my bro. How are you?
I'm alright.
Yeah? How's things?
Alhamdulillah, good man.
So let me just give my final thoughts on the camera. That was an interesting conversation. It didn't go anywhere. Hopefully, later on reflection, he will see that, yeah, it just really didn't go anywhere because he's refusing to commit to an answer. He's happy with not knowing. Yeah, and I think what ends up happening is you have a worldview or you just want to follow your desires. If I had more time, I would like to have really unpacked the conversation in regards to how we choose. My mind's gone blank. Assalamu alaikum. Cut out the last part.